I love Salt Lake. Oh, FanX! Well, thank you so much for coming.
Well, thank you again for having me.
All right. I think we're all excited. I'm just saying, first of all, congratulations on season 6 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Thank you.
So we've only got 46 minutes, like I said, so if we can go episode by episode, you can just tell us everything that happens. Can we do it in 46 minutes? We can do that, or...
Okay.
So, I mean, is there anything you can say just to get that out of the way? Because I know Marvel has snipers with red dots that'll go on your chest real quick.
About season 6?
Yeah, anything.
I can tell you this. Ghost Rider. Keep guessing and I'll tell you they're all wrong. I'm the rider. It's the Coulson rider. We saw what a big mistake that was. I turned out to pay for that one in season 5. Turns out turning yourself into a flaming skull does not increase your life expectancy. Who would have figured? I can tell you it is season 6. All right, I gotta go. It's nice to see you guys. Such a silly game in Marvel. I can tell you. Hi, my name's Clark. Good night. Comes on May 10th. May 10th, we're back after, I believe, over a year, or almost a year, something like that. And I can tell you that, and this may feel oddly familiar, that Coulson is dead.
He's in Tahiti!
Right, is he? And believe it or not, his team is messed up. They are so sad. Although I will tell you, not as sad as I thought they should be. I mean, they were crying, but I was like, but I need sobs. I want to see sobs, people. They let me direct the first episode. So 601, first episode of season 6, I directed. Giant, crazy, mind-blowing stuff. And so, part of Coulson's team is out in space. My good friend Daisy Johnson. You might know her as Quake. Quake, Simmons, Piper, some deep cut favorites on S.H.I.E.L.D. Agent Davis, who's also been nearly killed several times, which makes him very near and dear to Coulson's heart. They're out in space. We're not going to talk about this part too much because I get confused. Looking for the version of Agent Fitz who's not dead, but is still cryogenically frozen, theoretically, in space somewhere. So half the team's out there, the other half, the new director of S.H.I.E.L.D., the astonishingly beautiful Agent Mac. Henry Simmons. He's, again, grief-stricken over the loss of Coulson, and he, and Agent May, and Yo-Yo are on Earth trying to put the pieces back together, as I said, grief-stricken. But there is a new terrifying threat. Did you see the movie Annihilation by any chance? I did too. It's not really germane, I just wanted to see if anyone else. There's a kind of scary anomaly thing happening, and through it come these creatures. And one of these hideous creatures looks a lot like me. And so they're causing a lot of trouble, and they seem awfully evil, and I think there's a fair amount of consternation on the part of Agent May that one of them looks like somebody she just spent a romantic couple of weeks in Tahiti with. Thank you. I'm pleased whenever I can still get a woo. And there we go. That's all I can say. But it's really cool. The writers once again torn everything apart, taking a lot of chances. You won't believe where it's going to go, and I think fans of the show will be very excited about where it's going to go. Thanks.
I want to ask one more Marvel sniper question, just in case. because there's a movie coming out next week called Endgame. And for me, the reason we have the Avengers is because of Coulson. I think he's the heart and soul.
You're not the first to say so, my friends.
And I shouldn't be. Have you talked to any of your old friends? Have you know, again, those red dots are gonna start getting on your chest again, but just...
Can you tell you about Endgame? You want to know about Endgame? So do I. I know that the premiere is Monday night in Los Angeles, and they've had to go so much bigger with the venue. I'm not going to say that it's a stadium, but it's like that. It's all top secret, but it's going to be astonishing. I'm excited.
Sounds good. You talked about directing the first episode of season 6. Some people might not know that you do get behind the camera often, and you actually directed one of my favorite films from one of my favorite books, of Choke. If you guys have not read Choke or seen Choke, please look out and see Choke.
Check with your parents. Check with your parents.
Please definitely check with your parents. You know, is there a preference? Do you like getting behind the camera more often than being in front of it, or?
I came to LA. I was a theater actor for 10 years or so in New York.
What New Yorker?
There was one New Yorker here. And I couldn't really get a job as an actor. And I'd always wanted to write a little bit, so I started writing. I directed a few plays. And for a while I was a screenwriter. I wrote this movie, What Lies Beneath. That's what I was doing. And then I started getting a few indie films. And then I was on a sitcom with the fabulous Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And then one day I got a call from my neighbor down the street, John Favreau. I said, we've got this character. I think his name is just Agent. Little did he know how prophetic that would be. So I've been doing this for a while. It's fun to do both. It's all storytelling. I think directing makes you a better actor and a storyteller, and acting makes you have a different take on directing in a way. It's really fun. Our show is a really tight family. They aren't always, but we've been through these almost 7 years now together. Chloe Bennett, whose birthday was a couple of days ago, whom I love, she was 19 when we started. We just had her 27th birthday party. I probably shouldn't have said that. I mean, 23rd. 27th, who cares, whatever. And so we're all tight, so it's very fun to go get to play in that different role with them, and our crew's amazing, and to get to kind of do, I mean, if you've watched our show, you know that the visual effects started looking like, oh, it's TV Marvel, and now it's, now I think some of the stuff that goes on there competes with the feature world in some moments, especially in season 6. I'm halfway through shooting season 7. You guys are easy, okay? That was my fault.
So you brought up the MCU, and what I do want to bring up is we actually got to see you just recently in a great film called Captain Marvel. And what they have perfected, I love it, and it's not that anyone needs it on that cast, but they have perfected the de-aging process. And I'm curious, can you talk about what they did to do that? Because we saw Kurt Russell do it, we saw, you know, Michael Douglas do it, you know. What was the process to make you 1 year younger?
They said 28 years, a lot younger. They said, listen, we want you to be in Captain Marvel. I was like, oh, that's so cool. I love Captain Marvel. Does she wear the Mohawk helmet? They're like, yes, they said, but it takes place in the mid-90s. So we'll pay for a trainer. And I was like, listen, fellas, I don't think there is a trainer who can take that many years off of me. And they said, no, that's just, you know, parts of you. We have a picture here where we've drawn which parts we want you to work on. No, they didn't do that. Would have been nice if they had. But there's other parts of you that, you know, we'll take care of that. We're getting better and better at that. And so I showed up to work, and they put some makeup on me, and then they just started drawing these black dots around my face, which I guess once you put this old face in the computer, they can do all kinds of youthfully stuff to it. And then I got in the car with Sam Jackson, and I was like, oh look, your dots are white. So we got this whole kind of ebony and ivory thing going on. It was a little bit like an original Star Trek episode where the one guy, half of him was white. That was for the parents out there. Look it up, kids. And so luckily we just got to play. It's a weird thing to know that whatever I'm doing in an extreme close-up will be a different person's face, kinda, by the time it comes out. But it was cool. I thought it looked amazing. I really thought Sam looked especially amazing. And it's just amazing what they can do. I work out sometimes as a practice test dummy in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and for the better Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu players. And I walked in with a big bruise one day. I was like, God, I'm really sorry. Can you cover this up? And they just laughed and put dots on me. They're like, it's all right. It's a package deal. We take it all out.
I had a chance to speak with Paul Bettany one time, and then he started as Jarvis and became Vision. And I asked him, I said, how long had you known you were going to transition to that role? And he said 3 years that he knew that it was going to be that way. How long did you know that you were going to, let's just say, semi-perish in the first Avengers, and how long did you know until you'd come back?
A long time. That was really hard. Terrible at keeping secrets. I was just at San Diego Comic-Con, and I was backstage, and they finally were like, you know what, we believe, now that we know that his name is actually Phil, we're gonna actually let you be in the panel for Thor. And I was like, wow, that's so cool, I'm kind of geeking out right now. And then when I was backstage, this guy who I immediately recognized as Joss Whedon comes up to me and said, that was a really easy one, yes. Joss Whedon, no. Who had done such shows at I liked Firefly, my hell. Anyway, he comes up and goes, oh listen, you're going to be the Avengers, a big part of the Avengers. Can we introduce you with the cast? And that's when I thought I was dying, and it was like a Make-A-Wish thing. And I got upset, but it was real. And probably 2 months later, I got a call saying, listen, Josh wasn't kidding. You do have a big part in the Avengers. In fact, what happens to you is what brings the Avengers together. And it's like, wait, what? But then he wrote this amazing script and this amazing death scene where I knew what it does. And I found out what the gun does. And then I got the other call saying, guess what? We're moving into TV and you're going with us. And that was 11 years ago, so it's been a great run. And it was a secret that was worth keeping.
I got a couple more questions that we open up to the audience, but you mentioned her name before, and I just have to ask this because I think she is a treasure to this world. You got to work with one of my favorite actresses of all time, which is Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I think she's a genius, and I'm just curious, like, what kind of energy do you feel on a set like that with someone like that?
I mean, I was such a Seinfeld fan myself, and then I couldn't believe that they plucked me out of the lonely screenwriting office, and I was getting to play with her and Wanda Sykes and this amazing cast. And it's something they don't do much anymore. It's a live audience sitcom, so we rehearse it like a play and just do it with a play, but you can screw up, and in fact, everybody laughs when you do, which just takes a little bit of the pressure off. And it was a comedy clinic. She's such a good actor, on top of being, to me, the Lucille Ball of our generation. When you're doing a comedy like that, I would come home with a headache from laughing. So it was a really, really fun gig.
And then my last question before you open it up is, we got to see your show versus another show battle each other in a dub smash battle. And in that same realm, I always ask this question to anybody I interview because I think it tells a lot about a person. What is your go-to karaoke song?
Well, the difference between dub smash and karaoke is one is lip syncing.
Yeah.
And one that people actually have to listen to you sing. So I've been banned from every karaoke place in Los Angeles. It would probably be, you think I'm a nasty girl? Ooh. That's one of them, just because at least people are laughing too hard to actually hear what I'm doing with the singing part.
Works for me. All right, let's open it up to the audience. Straight ahead.
Hi, my name is Caleb.
Hi, Caleb.
My question is, what was your favorite scene filming in the first Avengers movie?
It's a great question. Caleb wants to know. Probably heard it, so I don't have to say that, right? It's just like that. I think, the day, it was pretty early on, the day where I walked onto the helicarrier and there sitting around a desk were not just 8 or 9 of my favorite actors on the planet, which is what Marvel does so well, but also most of my bookshelf from 1971 to the present day, where like, oh, okay, there's Bruce Banner and Natasha Romanoff sitting next to Hulk and Cap. So on that level, that day, the fact that I didn't burst into flames and die was a big win for me. Thank you.
What was it like to work for S.H.I.E.L.D.?
It's a great question. What was it like to work for S.H.I.E.L.D.? Other than the keeping secrets for a really long time, which as I said is not my strength. I'm still worried I'm going to say a spoiler any moment. Just learning how to say Strategic Homeland Invention Enforcement Logistics Division. The first day was hard, but ever since then, to have that in my back pocket at all times. I guess I would have to say, being a member of S.H.I.E.L.D., to get to interact with the incredible Sam Jackson, and all the Avengers, but then also to be on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for 130 episodes at this point, and to get to interact with that family that I have there with Elizabeth Henstridge and Ian DeCastecker and Mick Nolan and Henry Simmons and Natalia Cordova-Buckley and boy, I'm always leaving one out. And also the incredible guest stars. Ruth Negga, Bill Paxton, who I love, some of the bad guys, Powers Booth, just the cast that's come through there, Kyle MacLachlan, just the actors I've gotten to work with has been one of the true joys of my life. And honestly, the other part of it that's so amazing is to be a character who started out, as I said, named Agent. And to end up hanging out with all of you here today, and to be, as I said, 130 episodes into the first show on Marvel television, live action show, only because the fans put out a hashtag, Coulson Lives, and they were so vocal. That I don't really want to be bossed around, but I do have to face, I feel like you guys are my boss. So thank you. Thank you, good question.
Hello, my name's Sam. I just want to say Agent Coulson is my favorite Avenger. My question is just about S.H.I.E.L.D. and its interaction with the actual cinematic universe. What do you think the odds are that S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV show S.H.I.E.L.D. and the movies will have more interaction than they currently do?
That's a very good question. One that's very difficult for me to answer. Okay, so I'm going to take a shot anyway, Sam, because you're a really cool Millennium Falcon shirt. Okay, so when our show was born, it was all one Marvel, and then Marvel Cinematic and Marvel Television kind of went under different branches of Disney, and so then you had Netflix, so you had all these really cool things going on in New York and Hell's Kitchen, but I didn't get to go. And they didn't get to come hang out with us. We had definitely had Sam and the spectacular Kobe Smulders, Lady Sif, come play with us on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but, less so. That said, now there's an incredible new platform launching called Disney Plus. And And my hope is that Disney Plus will become the mothership under which we are all reunited.
Hi, my name is Nikki. My question is, you said you didn't have any intel on Endgame, but if you do, without giving any spoilers, who do you think would be the best Captain America?
You mean if something happens to
If something happened to Captain.
You're mentioning a thought that's too painful for me to think about. And one that would probably get me killed if I even ventured into it. Maybe. There's only one Cap. But if there wasn't, I don't know, I'd probably lobby for Tessa Thompson. I know she's not pleased to take it. Hard to say, really hard to say.
Here come the
You guys don't mess around here in Salt Lake City. I'm gonna be wheeled out of here on a Marvel hearse.
That's loud. My question is actually about the West Wing. You were Agent Mike Casper, right?
Thank you.
What was it like working on such an iconic show, and did that help you prepare to be Special Agent Phil Coulson?
Thank you. I had one of the first paying jobs I got in New York. I was in the original Broadway of A Few Good Men by a young playwright named Aaron Sorkin, and I played the part that is now known as Kevin Bacon. I've since met and I love Kevin Bacon. I do have to carry that around with me. And so they. When I was more of a screenwriter with a very young dog. No, my daughter wasn't born. I got a call saying there's this recurring part they want to put on the West Wing. I was already a huge fan of that show, so I showed up like that. And they just kind of kept adding fun stuff for him to do. And one of the weird things about being an actor is there's no such thing as calling in sick. You can't even call in with an amputation. You just can't call in. You have to show up because everything's set up for that day. But I had to call in that day and say, I'm sorry, I'm not coming in. My daughter's being born today. And Aaron and Tommy Swami were like, that's okay, we understand. Thanks.
Okay, so you clearly found the perfect combination of classic G-Man and chill nerd dad for the character of Coulson. And I just want to know how much of that comes naturally, and if there were any big inspirations for it.
None of it. Clearly none of it too. Thank you. I don't know. My friends who I went to high school with find it endlessly hilarious that I play anyone in law enforcement. And I don't know, I guess there's just something about this whole situation that screams G-Men. Like I said, my parents, they don't think it's funny. They're just like, come on. It's a miracle we kept you out of prison, much less you're putting people away. I don't know, they really write me really great fun stuff. I mean, I've had the writers from Thor to Iron Man and Joss, what Joss really figured out about what a fanboy he is and the way that the writers on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. have really kept that spark alive. They've really, they're not so beautiful, but they've been drawn that way. Thank you.
I want to see hashtag Coulson lives and hashtag cool nerd dad. For what it's worth, you are a beautiful man.
Glass of syrup.
My question is about
And it's time to work on the prescription on those glasses you got.
Okay, so lip sync battle, you just nailed Britney Spears. The song dance, was that your idea? Was it somebody else? Can you still do the dance?
They give you a vast list of songs, and all I can tell you is I went straight to Britney, baby. I thought I really already knew, and I'm not going to go into this, but I already knew some of the moves from Oops, I Did It Again. Because, of course. And I wasn't that familiar with Toxic, but the minute I saw that video, I was like, oh, girl. I'm about to serve me some snacks. Too much? Sorry. And all I can say is, if ever anyone in your life, first of all, I've never been more scared in my life. I'm sorry if you haven't seen this yet, and then soon it will be stuck in your head. It's a terrible thing to have in there. Everybody should have some backup dancers at some point in their life. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Holly, and I was wondering in, I think, season 3, Agent Coulson becomes an amputee.
Yes.
And I was just wondering what you brought to the role to prepare yourself for that, and what did you learn from it, because you're not an amputee. Yeah.
You know, I felt like, it's a great question. I felt like there's so many things they throw at Agent Coulson. He's been through so much. He's about to go through more. So much more. That was a big one. There was something really, it felt like a responsibility. You know, I wanted to honor people like you in that community and really try to experience what that's like. It helped that, you know, the difficulties of trying to portray that meant immediately I had a lot of limitations on what I could do, and had a lot of respect for what it's like to try to adapt even in my minimized version of that. And it was nice to hear from a lot of people, and I got to spend a little bit of time with some people in Los Angeles who are veterans who are recovering from those kind of things. And that's one of the things that I love about Phil Coulson the most, and what the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. journey has been amazing about is this is a person who's suffering from trauma and is a veteran in a way, and trying to make sense of that. I think that's a big underscore of what goes on in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And that's it. Thanks.
I'm Cheyenne, and I was wondering what was it like working with Dakota Fanning and Very Good Girls?
Thank you. You said Cheyenne?
Yes.
Cheyenne and Dakota. Weird. Maybe you guys are related. I did a small film called Very Good Girls, directed and written by a wonderful woman, Naomi Foner, Jake Gyllenhaal's mom. And it was her and Lizzie Olsen, although my stuff was with Dakota. Lizzie Olsen, as you well know, is Scarlet Witch, and also is part of the Atlantic Theater Company, which is my gang in New York. I was a big Dakota Fanning fan, if that isn't redundant, but I wasn't prepared. I was so crazy for her and thought she was one of the best actors I've ever worked with, but I don't know, some people you meet them and you just, I want to be more like Dakota Fanning if I can do it. It might be weird when I do it, but I think she's cool. Thank you.
So my name's Lynn, and my question for you is, if you could be any hero or villain in Marvel, who would you be and why?
What'd you say? Long after I'm dead, it will still be too soon. No, it's funny. Because there are theories online that Loki was under some kind of Thanosian mind control. Still not okay. Just still not okay. If I could be any hero or villain, I mean, I love that's what they're all doing. Okay, I was really into a guy named Adam Warlock. When I was a kid, just was cosmic, this amazing artist who I'm a huge fan of, Jim Starlin, drew a lot of amazing Warlock. So, you know, if I got to go into the permanently, the big time, de-aging, new muscling machine, then I would like to be Warlock.
I kind of want to jump on that question real fast because, you know, I guess we talked about Endgame next, and I'm curious, not that you know any spoilers or anything like that, but watching that screen, we know some things are going to happen in that movie. That we're able to prepare ourselves and bring in a box of tissues.
You have no idea. I haven't seen it.
Let's take your boyfriend cap off the table. Who would you be the saddest to see go in that franchise?
You know there's no good answer for
There's not a good answer.
I feel like Coulson's their weird uncle. You know, on different days, he has a real soft spot for Stark. He loves Banner despite that weird rage thing he does. You know, I'm also tight with other ones. Like you know, me and Lady Sif, we get each other. There's a lot of people like that. Honestly, I thought, this is what happens when you die this many times. I thought Ragnarok was so funny. I love Dave Bautista, what he does with that role. I would love to interact with those guys someday. Thanks.
Hi, Cool Dad G-Man.
I'm getting a tattoo today.
And the other option is Phil Warlock, so. Alright, so considering that your character is brand new and original to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, what is it like to see it encroach upon the other canons? Like in the cartoons and in the comics, Phil Coulson is becoming a larger character in the universe, and it has your face.
Weird, right? It actually has even a nicer, younger face quite often, which is a plus. You know, when Iron Man first came out, there was a brief storm on baby Twitter about who's this guy? He's not in any of the comics. They invented this guy. Kill him. Hey, easy. I just got a name, for God's sake. And luckily, very quickly, they put him into some comics. And people are like, okay, we'll let him live 3 more movies. I'm in a show, I'm not bitching. Okay. So it's really cool to me because I was kind of into this stuff as a kid. So to see comics that have, like I said, this cool younger me in it, doesn't suck. Thank you.
First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. It's such a pleasure seeing you today.
We got to take a picture, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
And you signed it.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
My question is, if Firefly was ever rebooted and Joss Whedon had a part for you in it, would you take it?
Yes. There are some people you just don't ever say no to because the writing's going to be that good. Thank you. But they are rebooting a lot of stuff, am I wrong? I mean, and I'm really digging the Will and Grace is back, but I mean, why not Firefly? I mean, why not? Have you seen Nathan? He looks amazing.
So we know that this industry is insane. How do you maintain relationships with your crazy schedule and keep yourself sane?
That's a trick question, isn't it? Now it's when like all the faces come up on the screen. He's not. It's a crazy schedule, but I mean, a lot of people work a crazy schedule. Am I right? I mean, I was, you know, the first season of the TV show, 22 episodes with the action and the fights and I tore my bicep. Knees had like 2 ACLs. Always crack balls. But it's because we love it. Everybody's so competitive about who does the best fights. It's so fun, you know what I mean? I would just hate to work those kind of hours and not be and having that much fun. We feel very lucky to be doing it. So, keeping the sanity, someone else is going to have to do that. It is not given to me. That was gone a long time ago. Thank you.
So, my question comes from my mom in Delaware. She says hi and she loves you. The question is, we see that Agent Coulson, growing up, was a fan of Peggy Carter and Captain America, and that he collected the Captain America cards. Oh, I can't English. Anyway, my question is, who did you admire growing up, and maybe people who you admire now, and maybe things that you also collect?
Oh, okay. Who did I admire? I was a big fan of Julius Irving, Dr. J. I'm a big basketball fan. I was a big fan of John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King. I was a big fan of, who else, man? So many people. I was a big fan of the TV show Battlestar Galactica. And when I was in my teens, early teens, there was this movie that came out that I went to the 11 a.m. and I stayed the whole rest of the day about a guy named Luke. So I was well and truly into that. I could go on and on. There's some things I was a fan of. Thank you.
Cool. My name's Ricardo. You also signed my picture.
I remember Ricardo.
So my question is, so the 11 years that you've been filming at Marvel, what has been the biggest lesson for you or the biggest takeaway as you've been filming for 11 years?
The biggest takeaway. I gotta tell you something. There's something that's been kind of weird, which is there's a weird, very thin membrane between Phil Coulson and Clark. As I said, we're not really the same, but how suddenly I was dead, and then I was dead. I was gone from that world, and then suddenly I was in a new world with a bunch of young people. And I didn't know them, and we were making a new team. And I'm just talking about me and Ming and Chloe, and Brett and Ian. It's all been this mirror ride. And then we got to the end of season 5, and we didn't know if we were going to do anymore. So we had an episode called The End, where I was saying goodbye to everybody, and we couldn't even rehearse it. They just put tape on the floor where we were supposed to stand because we couldn't get through it because we thought we weren't going to see each other anymore. We were a mess because we love each other and we love our crew, and that part of it, the way that the life and the art can kind of bleed together has been amazing. And I guess the other thing is, I don't know, when I was a kid maybe they thought of genre stuff, like comic book stuff, in a different kind of tongue-in-cheek kind of way. But I think what Marvel's done in terms of the drama, the humor, the reality, what we've gotten to do in those films and in this TV show is so big and wild and like Shakespeare that I couldn't have asked for a deeper, better challenge than this. So I only look up at it as being amazing. And the third big one is just the gratitude that I feel for getting to play this guy and have this kind of fun and to take my inner 9-year-old to work with me every day, and to also, hit Salt Lake City and get to hang out with a bunch of people I never met before, and we kind of all got to make highlights. Really cool, you guys. Thank you for that.
All right. My name is Dominique, and thank you so much for coming. I just wanted to say first that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is one of my favorite shows.
Thanks, man.
And you and the whole S.H.I.E.L.D. family are just super cool. You guys are the best. But I actually wanted to ask about filming Much Ado About Nothing. What was it like getting to work with Joss on a smaller project and with Amy and Alexis?
Right after we finished the Avengers, a couple of weeks later, Joss invited me over to dinner at his house, and he told me he was doing this. And I was like, I said, "Are you gonna take vacation, man? You worked really hard." And he said, "No, I have 10 days off before I start editing. I'm gonna make a Shakespeare movie at my house. Do you want to be in it?" I was like, But it started the next day. I think someone else had been unable to do it, so I had to learn an awful lot of Shakespeare that night. It was very scary. And I was a fan of a lot of those people, so to show up and have scenes with Amy Acker and Nathan Fillion, I was kind of dying already. But it was more fun. It was more fun. His house was just the party that you saw in that movie. And it turned out really beautifully. I'm really proud of that movie. It was so much fun, and I still think Amy Acker is just the best there.
Hi, my name's Emily. So I just wanted to say that I normally, I can't cry during shows for some weird reason when something sad happens, but I was able to cry when you and Fitz died, so that's the first time I was ever able to cry.
Feels good, doesn't it? during one of my photo ops, and I was a mess. Good luck to you.
My question is, what was your favorite thing about being Coulson, or like the most relatable thing?
What was the last part?
Most relatable thing?
About being Coulson?
Yeah.
I love that Coulson's a fanboy. I love that, Joss, when he told me he wanted to do the TV show, we had this idea, which I really think was the spirit of it, which is, okay, everybody's in a room, they find this alien relic, you tell them all to get out because it's dangerous, but then you take your phone and you take a picture of you with the relic. He really gets Coulson. That part of it's really fun, I really it's good. Thank you.
Actually, I wonder about that one. So, on all the sets you've been on, as you as an actor, which prop would you want to take a selfie with on one of those sets?
When Sam showed up back on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and brought the destroyer weapon, that was a big day. It lights up, it's very heavy, it can actually destroy a city block. Sir.
Hi, I'm Brian. My question is, what was it like working with Captain Marvel versus working with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
It's funny, there were similarities. People were S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, they had badges, and a lot of the stuff was similar. They borrowed some of our Quinjets, just saying. And made them cooler and bigger, because they had more money. And it made me jealous. But then there was the part that was so cool was to be with Sam in an old 90s car, to be hanging out in a Blockbuster. You kids won't understand, this was really fun. This was really nostalgic. Really nostalgic. I kept trying to rent stuff, and they're like, it's props stuff. And also, it's just one of the coolest characters in the comics, period. Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers. I have a daughter who's 17, to get to go to that premiere and have her see what seems to be the most powerful hero in the Marvel Universe. Really young woman, a little older than herself, that's a big day for me. And so I was really proud to be part of it for that reason. Thank you.
Speaking of crying, my brother and I totally just started crying when we saw you get out of the car at the Blockbuster. That was just like so we can't. Yeah. My question is though, what would it take to get you and Taika Waititi to star together in like a buddy cop drama?
I can only think of Wayne and Garth, whom I saw here today in cosplay, by the way, and say, I'm not worthy. He is the man, he's a genius. I would do anything to work with that guy, thank you. Young man.
I'm Walker, and I was wondering what's your favorite movie that you've starred in and why? That you've been in.
Thank you, asked my sound. Well, I've starred in it. Favorite movie I've been in and why? Damn, Walker, bring it. Tough question, Walker. Okay. Wow, Walker got me. Okay. I mean, it changes all the time. Walker, what's your favorite song? See? I guess I'm gonna have to. I guess I'm gonna have to go with. I guess I'm gonna have to go with the Avengers because it was just that much fun. Thank you. It's the little ones. You can't trust the little ones. Just gonna take it down. If that baby has a question, I'm in big trouble. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Hi there. First of all,
Thank you.
thank you very much for all your roles, big fan. Hope you have more and more seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Thank you.
Like making and suggested ones. Anyway, I hope it's not too personal question. Here we go, both you and your beautiful wife, Jennifer Grey, made tattoos.
Yes, it's true.
Anything you can tell us about?
My wife, who no one can still figure out why she married me, is an actress named Jennifer Gregg. And no, don't do those jokes. Yeah, we do lift every morning. Every interview, I guess. But it's true, we do the lift every morning. And I pick her up and she pours the coffee into me. It's a dirty dancing thing, kids go listen. And okay, so yeah, I don't know what to say about this other than we're in our 50s and we're not mature. So we decided that now was the time to get tattoos. There's a really cool tattoo artist in New York who does very fine work. And so we went together about 8 or 10 months ago when we both got tattoos that weren't matching. And I thought she should get one of the comic book images of me. She didn't agree. So we both got different images. Show it to you. It's on my chest. No sense. Yeah, that's because I'm mature. I did that at 57. Yep. I just like it. We both do something fun to do together. And it's true what they say, because now I want another one. Thank you. And now, the baby that's gonna stump me for sure.
So, I know you played Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and that's Netflix. Well, it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Do you prefer doing like TV shows or do you prefer doing more of the movies like Avengers?
Do I prefer doing a TV show or a movie? It's all changed. It was kind of, one thing was kind of an intense 4 months and you had a lot more time to shoot it. We first did the first couple episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We were doing a month and a half of movie work in 8 days. And that nearly killed me. And now we've kind of gotten used to it. I would say that, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of counting the clock to get back there and find out what that meant when Bran Stark just saw Jamie. Do you know what I mean? I'm just waiting for another season of Thrones. Whatever's the stuff that's going on streaming or cable right now is mostly I'm more excited about, with the exception of this independent film that I'm going to see on Monday night. I think what's going on, I get more excited about, I'm going to binge this now. You know, to get to go in and deep dive and spend 13, 14 hours with these characters and these stories and what's being... I just think there's longer movies that you can see at home. I really wish they were showing the season of Game of Thrones in theaters. You know?
We got time for one more question.
One more question, sir.
Hi, my name is Todd.
Hey, Todd.
What's it like to play in Avengers?
You know, it's really fun to be part of a big ensemble, and you get around all these giant movie stars, you think people, so who's going to be a diva other than me? And what happens is everybody shows up and it's kind of like summer camp, and I think some of those giant movie stars like that, they're used to being by themselves and carrying the whole movie, maybe with one other person, so I was only there for the first one, but everybody was so psyched to be there. There was this, we got a text from Chris Evans one night in Albuquerque that just said, assemble. And it had the address of the bar, and that was a really good night.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think that's all the time now. Thanks so much.
Salt Lake FanX, give me a huge round of applause for Clark Gregg. One more time, guys. Give me a huge round of applause. We're gonna take a photo, guys. We're gonna take a photo. We're gonna do something. Turn your lights there. Go ready on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. If you want